Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at all of the new hero designs for Overwatch 2. You can see some of them here a little bit, like Torbjorn's portrait shows the new design. A lot of them don't, I don't know why, but they're still obviously in beta, so things are still work in progress. I do want to just say this right off the bat because I know there's going to be an issue that people are probably going to bring up. My computer hates me right now. It does not like me recording and playing Overwatch 2 at the same time, so I apologize before we even jump into this. Quality might dip at times, frame rate might dip at times. That's just what's going on right now. I'm looking to get a new PC as soon as I can, but money's not where it is right now for that. But hopefully in the next few months I can get that sorted out. But for now, we're going to jump in. We're going to look at all of the new hero designs. We're going to go through role by role alphabetical order. So starting with D.Va, ending with Zenyatta. And that's how we're going to go. So let's start with D.Va. That is obviously not her new look. But we go up here. We get Classic 2. And you can see D.Va's new look here. And we've seen some teases and stuff with this. So we've seen it a little bit. But this is D.Va's new look. How does it compare to her original look? Well, let's just take a look at that classic look for a second here. And you can see her original look. Obviously, hair is very different. The mech is more white in the new look. This is the old look with a lot more pink. Move over to the second one. You can see different hairstyle. Her hair is in a ponytail now, as opposed to it being down like it was before. Like I said, you got more white on this version of her Toki mech. Her bodysuit is more white than it was before. A little bit less blue. Some changes like here. This is these like hexagonal shapes on the back as opposed to before where they were circles. So changes like that. Very, very, very different look in a lot of ways. Even like these fins up here are straight there. They're a little crooked up here. Overall, I think better, smoother, nicer looking design. A little more futuristic, a little more kind of updated and upgraded, which I think is very, very nice. Also, you can see some other changes. I don't think this menu looked like this before, where you have these things on the side. So here's her victory poses, emotes, highlight intros, sprays, which finally may be a better looking sprays menu than we had before, when the spray menu previously was absolutely awful. This is a much better spray menu, something I didn't even know they were adding. I don't believe this is in the beta before. I think this is new. Nice to see. Voice lines, and then weapons. You have her golden weapon, and you have her regular weapon. There you go. But there we go. That's the new look for D.Va. I'm not going to do this same menu stuff with everything else, but there you go. So from D.Va, let's move on to the next, which is Doomfist. Of course, he moved from the DPS damage roll to the tank roll, so his change is somewhat noticeable. So there's his normal original Overwatch 1 design. Here is his Overwatch 2 redesign. You can see quite a difference. His gauntlet looks a little bit bigger and beefier. Size-wise, it might be roughly the same, but definitely looks more kind of daunting and scary. You see, still the Doomfist thing in the engraving there. His got this like fur thing here around his neck and shoulders. Definitely a darker color scheme to his design, more blacks and reds in the gauntlet and his overall outfit than it was before. Definitely some, you know, like down in his legs, he got some dark colors. And in the gauntlet itself, there is some black and some red, but this new look has a lot more black and red on it. Gold is not as primary. It is the secondary color now to his more kind of darker colors here. This kind of black and gold look around the waist and in the legs, as opposed to the older look, which had some red in it, but no real black and gold. Definitely a more interesting, more kind of elegant look, I would say. It's a more kind of full look than you had before, so big fan of this Doomfist change. He was one of the heroes I was most interested in seeing what his new design was, because he's the only hero that's moving to a different role, so I kind of want to see how they made him feel more tank-like while still making him feel like Doomfist. I think they did a pretty good job. Getting him some more kind of beef to his gauntlet. I'd like his kind of new, more sleek design. Very, very nice for Doomfist. Junker Queen, of course, is a brand new hero, so there's no new design for her. Her entire design is a new design, but you can see her here. The only thing she has is a golden weapon, interestingly enough. That's the only cosmetic she has at the moment. I imagine that's true for Sojourn as well, but we'll see as we go forward. But yeah, there we go. There's Junker Queen. There's her new look, or her only look we've ever really seen from her. I'm a big fan of it. I like Junker Queen's design, as I'm sure most of the internet is. So that's that. Let's move on to the next redesign, which is Orisa. One we haven't really gotten a great look at yet in any of the content we've had, any of the promotional stuff. She's been using a lot of, like, fortifies, so her look has been a little blocked. So here's her Overwatch 1 design to refamiliarize yourself with, and here is her Overwatch 2 design, which is very, very different. Wow, this is an incredible redesign. I like the little wiring we have up top, kind of similar to the way Lucio's hair looks. I don't know if that was supposed to be an homage to Lucio in particular, because obviously Ify in the lore is very kind of a big fan of Lucio, so I don't know if it was inspired by Lucio or if it was just kind of meant to mimic more traditional African hairstyles. I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning behind it was, but it definitely could be both of them. You could play it off as both of them for that reason. But definitely interesting look here. Her horns are smaller on this look. She's got some more of the wiring here. Definitely an interesting design. More brown, more tan coloring than before, which was definitely more yellow, more green. I guess there is still a bit of a lighter tan color to her original design. But this one is definitely more kind of a darker color. Still some of that green, a little bit of that yellow in the head. Her head shape is different. Interesting look from Orisa. I'm definitely a fan of what we have here. Was not expecting the vast redesign we got for her, but I like it a lot. I kind of like that they made the horns smaller. I think it makes the head shape a little more simple, and I think it makes it smaller. I don't know if the horns were a part of her hitbox before or not, but I think making the head more kind of closed together probably makes that a little bit easier to use. They made her head more vertical than horizontal, which is interesting. But you still have some of that same shape of the head, even though the horns are changed by having these wires exposed. So interesting design. I like the Orisa design. Little flower pattern here. I don't know if that was in the original one. I don't think it was. I guess there was a bit of like a flowery sun pattern. This one's a little bit more, fewer lines to it, which is interesting. I think the design's nice. It's a nice, sleeker looking design, more kind of futuristic-y, I think. Just generally speaking, I think what most of the designs are. The Reinhardt design is not one that we have kind of been wondering about much. We've seen it quite a bit. It was one of the original designs we got when the game was first announced. So here's his original design, and here's his Overwatch 2 redesign. A lot more yellow in this design as opposed to the red, which is more prominent in the original design. Obviously, no more helmet for Reinhardt. Now he's got his man bun out and his beard out. Much more interesting look, I think, here. Kind of playing into some of the older designs you had with him in, like the Crusader look. Obviously, this is a skin from the animated short, but you have even, I think, Lionheart and Stoneheart, where you have his head out and exposed. These are designs we've kind of had before. It's not a new thing for his head to be out, but this is now his main design, where his head is, no more helmet on. Man bun this time around. I guess it's not really a man bun. It's not really a bun. It's more just like a small ponytail. I don't know what you call this. His boots are interesting. I don't think he had those, like, sharp... He had one sharp thing on his boots before. Now he's got two. I like the look on Reinhardt. Obviously, none of these skins have gotten the look of the classic look. I wonder if they'll call it, like, Brass 2 when it comes out, or Cobalt 2, or if they're going to do just completely different looks for those. But I like this Reinhardt look. I like the... Also, they made the lion, I think, on his chest smaller. Actually, didn't even have one before. I thought he did, but they actually gave him a little lion on his chest, as well as where his shield comes out of. So, Reinhardt's look was one I was a fan of when we saw it. So, big fan of that one. Roadhog, here's his original look. There, you can see he's got his stomach out, his hair's up. Interesting look there. I've never been a big Roadhog fan, so we've seen some looks at his Overwatch 2 design. I like that they didn't really change his tattoos at all. It looks like the tattoos are the same. Maybe they cleaned them up a little bit, but they kept his tattoo design the same, which I like. I don't think you should change that. It's Roadhog. That's kind of a part of him. His look may change, but his tattoo would not change. He's got a mohawk now as opposed to his, like, bun ponytail thing. A little more red in his design, I believe, than there was before. Obviously, he had more yellow. Now he's favoring the red more. He still has the smiley face patch, which I believe is some type of, like, model website or something. Let's see, what does that say? Does it just say left? Yeah. His left hand has rings that say left. I don't think he had that in Overwatch 1. Maybe he did, and I never noticed it before. Oh, he did. I never noticed that before. Wow. You learn more every day. Looks like his belt is the same, with the same license plate. It's a little cleaned up now, but same look, generally speaking. I like this design. It's nice. This is like a dagger. I thought wasn't it like a shotgun before? Maybe it was always a knife. I always thought it was like a gun. Maybe it is a gun. I can't really tell super well. This is definitely now, though, like a knife on his back as opposed to a gun, whatever it was before. So, fan of this look for Roadhog. I like what they changed with his mask, too. I actually like this look a lot better than his original one. Obviously, he has the like nose septum like ring thing there. A little more smooth look to the mask, so I like the Roadhog redesign. It's pretty nice. Sigma, we've had a couple of looks at this Sigma redesign a little bit, but here's Sigma's normal design. His feet are out, toes are dangling, dogs are barking, you know how it is. A lot of greens, tealish, aqua type colors in his Overwatch 1 design. His Overwatch 2 design, his toes still out, his dogs still barking, arguably more barking than they were before, but now his look is a lot more focusing on whites as the color as opposed to that kind of teal aqua color. He's still got some green like down here and in his straps and whatnot and some blue, but a lot more white heavy on his design, which I think is interesting. I think is nice. We get a nice kind of smoother design. It doesn't feel very Talon, which I think is interesting. It feels definitely like Scientist than it does Talon, which, you know, is cool. But you have some of the same kind of, obviously, design philosophies, the same general shape. He's still got the floating things around his head. His hypersphere is a little more nice, but definitely a more, I think, clean design. I like the way that they have moved to a more smooth, science-y, sci-fi white design. I think that fits Sigma very, very well. I like his old design, obviously. I'm a fan of his Overwatch 1 design, but I do really like his Overwatch 2 design. And I really like the way the colors are. You can see he's got some, like, writing here, HXK125. I don't believe that type of stuff was on his old design. It says Breacher on the back, if you didn't notice. That's not on his original design either. So, I like the look for Sigma. Sigma's got a nice new look. I'm a fan. Winston, or Winton, as the Overwatch community has collectively agreed to call him now. His design we've seen a lot. His is one of the ones that I think is the most subtle in terms of the way it changes. The colors, largely the same, right? We've seen a lot of character designs so far where the colors and the general look are somewhat different. Obviously, Sigma we just looked at, Doomfist we just looked at. Reinhardt even has some changes to, you know, favoring more yellow as opposed to favoring more white. Favoring more red. But Winston here looks pretty similar in a lot of ways. He definitely looks different. He looks new, obviously. He's got the Overwatch symbol on his gear as opposed to the Horizon Lunar Colony symbol on his gear. He looks a little bit smoother, you know, in a lot of areas. His tech and his gear looks nicer and newer as opposed to the way it looked in Overwatch 1. He's got this little thing on his arm, which I don't know if he had it before. He did not. He looks like a leader of Overwatch. He looks like someone who has taken the Overwatch kind of leadership role very, very much in stride. But a lot of those same kind of similar colors. Less blue, more yellow now. As you can see kind of in the original design, you have blue here. Still a lot of yellow in his original design, so he still favors that yellow. But it definitely has a smoother, more clean design with almost no blue on it, with the exception of this kind of arm pad and whatnot. But it's a design when you look at it, you can definitely see that it is different, but it still feels very much like Winston. It is one of the ones that has changed, I think, the least out of all of them, so that's a good one. I like the Winston's new look. I've been a big fan of it from the beginning. Wrecking Ball. Oh man, I love Wrecking Ball. I love Hammond. Here's the original design. Obviously, the ball is more kind of green, that similar to the Sigma color, though definitely darker. A little more blue, I think, than Sigma is. Overwatch 2 look. Very, very, very different look to his mech. It's now a much kind of darker grayish gold kind of color. It's more like a goldish brown type of color. Hammond's got some hair sticking up now. He's got goggles on. He's got like a spacesuit, I think, as opposed to his original design, where he just was wearing nothing, basically. Now he's put on some clothes. Wrecking Ball is wearing clothes now. Color's very different. His kind of leg things are a little bit wider than they were before. This looks to me like he has kind of cleaned up his design, right? It's been some time has passed. It reflects that he has kind of refined the look of the Wrecking Ball, and I like the way it looks. The cannons are a little bit nicer. They're bigger now. Obviously, they're much like smoother looking. They were kind of crude looking before, but now they're nicer. He's had more time. He's had more technology, probably. Maybe he's been working with Winston. He's reconnected with Winston, and they've been working together to make this look nicer. So I like the Wrecking Ball redesign. Big fan of that one. Let's go to the final tank hero, which is Zarya. I'm just going to do all these in one video. I don't think it makes sense to make them all separate videos. Here's the original Zarya design. I know we've seen quite a bit of Zarya's new design in different media. Obviously, she had a new look in the Cassidy comic, and I know that that's kind of what they did for this look. She's now got a ponytail. Her hair's a little bit longer in the front than it was before. She's got a ponytail now. Her design is much more white than it was before. Before, it's pretty much all blue and black, a little bit of red in there. But her new look is more white. I think they're trying to make the characters that are associated with Overwatch have a more kind of similar look. Notice, like, D.Va, they added more white to D.Va, and she didn't really have white before. Zarya, they added more white to her. She didn't have white before. Winston is still very much kind of favoring that white color. But these characters we're seeing move over to Overwatch that we saw in other mediums. We're seeing a lot more white in their armor. I know that's a thing with Pharah. I know that's a thing with Baptiste. Zarya, Baptiste, Pharah, and... why am I drawing a blank? D.Va were the 4 characters we saw in the Cassidy comic, so it makes sense that the characters who are joining Overwatch are now more white in their color scheme, because that is the general color scheme of what the Overwatch team wears. So that's my guess for why they are favoring a lot more white with a lot of these characters. I really like this new Zarya design. I play a lot of Zarya, so I'm a big fan of what they've done with her. Same tattoos, obviously. I like it. I like the look we got for Zarya. Less kind of weightlifter, which was kind of her big thing, I think, in the first game, and definitely more of hero of Russia, which I think is awesome, and I like the look a lot. I know people have had different opinions on the hair, have had mixed opinions on the hair. If you look from this angle, it's pretty much the same old look in a lot of ways. The hair is up. But when you get kind of the more full look, more shaved hair on the sides, ponytail up. So I like this new Zarya design. Big fan of that. So let's move on to the damage heroes. Let's take a look at Ashe and her new look. So here's her Overwatch 1 design. Bob's Overwatch 1 design as well. Kind of black outfit mostly. Kind of trench coat look. Moving on to her Overwatch 2 design. Very, very similar, I think, color-wise. We get some more red. I like the look of her new kind of trench coat in the back. Get a better look at the Viper here. Ashe, one of the hardest heroes to look at her design changes because she just looks... so you have Bob behind her, so it's kind of difficult. But there's her Viper from Overwatch 1. And here it is from Overwatch 2. Kind of bigger looking gun. Looks like it has 2 barrels. Obviously, it only is with the 1. There's a snake design on it. I don't know if that was in the first one. I don't believe there was a snake design. So that's a cool little change. Obviously, it's a Viper, so makes sense for that. Kind of the same like shoulder shape bump stock look, which I like. Her hair looks mostly the same, maybe a little bit longer, but generally speaking, it's the same. I really like her new look. She looks a lot more scary, I think. Bob looks mostly the same from what I can tell. Here's Overwatch 2 Bob. There might be some changes, but his jacket looks like it might be a little bit different. Yeah, so you can see the collar is different. It was more like a fur collar before. So he looks mostly the same. Definitely does not have as much change to him as the other ones do. His belt is new. Looks more kind of big and beefy, but not too different for Bob. But definitely some slight changes to his look to make him look a little bit nicer, I think, more in line with some of the other Overwatch 2 designs. But Ashe, I'm a big fan of her design. I like that they didn't really change a lot. Still feels like Ashe, but definitely looks a lot more kind of new and updated. Bastion, he has a hat now. We know that. We've seen Bastion pretty early on in those original hero designs we got to see. So here's Bastion in Overwatch 1. A lot of green in his design, a lot of orange, some tan. Moving on to Overwatch 2. A lot of the same colors, but I think they made him more vibrant. Definitely a more vibrant looking green, a more vibrant looking kind of tan and yellow, almost orangey kind of mac and cheese color on his shoulder. He's got the nice Torbjorn hat on his head. Ganymede still looks like Ganymede. His gun looks a little more futuristic. I think one of the things that they're changing, because this is my general kind of thought process of what I'm seeing, most of the heroes' weapon designs look more futuristic. They look less real. Like, here's Overwatch 1 Bastion, right? His gun looks more like kind of like a Scar. His cannon has more like traditional kind of looks. All of that is pretty much gone now. The guns look a lot more futuristic, a lot more sci-fi. They look less realistic, less like what you have in real life, and a lot more like just actual kind of sci-fi fantasy type weapons, which I think is a good change. I think it's a nice change. Makes the game more accessible, makes it feel less like a Call of Duty, and I think it makes the game stand out more on its own. Makes it feel like its own type of thing. So nice look there for Bastion. Cassidy, another design we've already seen before, kind of quite well. Definitely got the cowboy look for Cassidy. Definitely more of an outlaw look, less of an Overwatch look. His new design, I think you capture some of that same feeling. Obviously, it's still like the brown in his legs, but his arm is white now, right? As I've noticed, a lot of the Overwatch characters, the characters associated with the organization of Overwatch, have more white in their new looks. His beard looks a little bit kind of more, it's bigger, obviously, and more kind of well-defined. His hair is a little bit shorter in some areas. Maybe it's actually the same length. Doesn't look like it's as long in the back, but it's definitely still got the same length kind of in the front. At least it's closer to his head. His hat looks pretty similar, but definitely kind of more updated look. I'm a fan of the Cassidy look. His Peacekeeper looks more updated once again. Feels more like a real gun than some of the other ones do, but definitely feels very kind of built up and stylized. Even more so than his original Peacekeeper did. So I like the new look for Cassidy. I'm a big fan of it. I like that they're kind of playing more into the look of his mechanical arm being Overwatch color scheme-wise. Let's look at Echo. I don't know what changes with Echo. I don't know if we've really seen much different with Echo. Some of the newer heroes seem to have pretty minimal change. So there's Echo from Overwatch 1, and here's Echo for Overwatch 2. Very, very similar. Very little changes from what I can tell. Let's take a look, kind of go back and forth really quickly. It honestly might be the exact same design, if I'm being honest with you. There are some slight differences, I think, in terms of the way her colors are done, but she looks pretty much the same. I don't even know if there is anything different about this design. Maybe a couple like small like things, but largely speaking, I think it's the same design. I don't really notice anything different with Echo. So take with that as you will. She was the last hero added to Overwatch 1, so I think that they probably had her design pretty sorted out before Overwatch 2. They probably knew what they wanted to look like, so I don't think they made a lot of changes. Genji, his original design from Overwatch 1. We've seen his design quite a bit in Overwatch 2, so let's take a look at his new look. Here we are. He's got clothes on now. That's a big change for Genji. I think that's a nice change because I think it reflects a lot of who he is as a person, right? In Overwatch 1, in the lore around Overwatch 1, we kind of knew that Genji was struggling to come to terms with who he was. He didn't really feel like a person anymore. He didn't know how to be himself when he felt more like he was a machine, like someone who felt kind of like a broken person. And this, I think, captures more of the mechanical aspect of Genji, which is interesting, right? He is still like a cyborg ninja, but he still feels like that on Overwatch 2. But he feels like he has also come to terms with who he is as a person. He feels more human again. He feels like he can be Genji, the human, and still be Genji, the ninja, the cybernetic kind of person, and it doesn't make him less human. On the inside, he might be less human on the outside, but he's still a human on the inside. He's still the same person. It says Bushin on the side. I don't know if that's like a in-universe thing we'll learn about more, maybe. I don't know if that's something that's established in the lore already, but I'm a fan of the Genji look. I was always a big fan of it when they showed it for the first time. I hope he'll get I hope he gets some skins where his hood is up, and that'd be cool. But for now, that's the Genji that we got, which I like quite a bit. Hanzo, I've seen this look on Twitter. So here's his original look. Definitely more, kind of favoring that kind of traditional Japanese kind of, I don't know if these would consider this a kimono, but more kind of the traditional Japanese kind of garb. Definitely an interesting look there that I've always been a fan of. Overwatch 2 Hanzo, much more facial hair. The side of his hair looks like it doesn't kind of poke out as much as it did before. His hair might be longer on the top as well. Maybe not, maybe just thicker. He still has a lot of that same look, but he's also wearing more clothes underneath now. He's not shirtless entirely. Still has his left arm out, which I think is important. But he's not entirely shirtless anymore. Still has kind of the same like kimono robe-like look. That hasn't changed. So, I like Hanzo. I like his new design. Darker colors, I think, always were a part of his kind of look, obviously. Still has like some of that same dark like black color to his robe. Almost like a charcoal. Still some of those same like cloud patterns. He has the kind of Shimada clan symbol there, but I'm a fan of what they did with the Hanzo redesign. I like the way he looks quite a bit. Big fan of this one. I think his look is going to be really cool going forward. How they kind of make new skins around the way he looks will be interesting. Let's take a look at new Junkrat. Oh, Junkrat. Here's his original design. This just bizarre looking man. Here's his Overwatch 2 design. His rip tire is way sharper than it was before. He's got these goggles now. Did he always have the missing teeth? He did not. So he's missing more teeth now. He looks, honestly, more unhinged than he did before. He's got more red in his design. I believe his pants were yellow before. Yes, they were. He's got more red in his design now, as opposed to yellow. Still has some yellow, obviously, in there, but a lot more red than his old Overwatch 1 design. I quite like it, though. I like his hair more in this one. I don't like the kind of, like, really stuck-up hair that he had before. It was obviously meant to look more like fire. His hair's on fire before. His hair looks like it is no longer... it is still a little on fire, but I like it to look a little bit better than his Overwatch 1 design, so... That's my thing. A lot of the designs so far I like as much, if not more, than what it was in Overwatch 1, which I think is a good thing. Overwatch 1 Mei, you can see her here. Got the spikes on the boots, all the blue and the white. Overwatch 2 design, a lot of the same blue and white, very similar color scheme. A much smoother looking design. Her hair is up now. Actually, was it up before? It was up before. But she has more hair kind of in front of her face than she did before. Snowball looks like he got a bit of an upgrade. Looks a little bit nicer now. Her little tank in the back got a little upgrade. Much smoother design, very similar type of design, but I think it's a nicer design. And I think it reflects a lot of kind of the changes that a lot of the characters have undergone kind of over time. This is her look when she literally was leaving Horizon Lunar Colony. Well, I guess it wasn't necessarily exactly that, but she was in the snow for a long time. Now she's not as much in the snow. She's now a hero of Overwatch. She still works with the cold, though, so she needs to feel like she's cold. The spikes on the bottom of her boots, still there. Pretty nice design. I like the new Mei design. I was a fan of it when they showed it off the first time. Farah's design is one that I've seen a lot of kind of people not like as much. Her original design, very blue, a lot of gold. That was kind of the color that they went with. Overwatch 2, a lot of white, still a lot of blue, still a lot of gold, but added a lot more white to the design. Her hair is a little bit different now. You can kind of see it looks a little bit like heavier. She doesn't have the same like whatever these things are. I don't know exactly what they are, but the kind of Egyptian hair pieces. I don't know what you would call those. Those are pretty much gone, if not entirely gone on Farah. Her visor is a little bit more translucent now, which it was not before. It was very opaque before. Like I said, a lot more white in her design. Still feels very Farah. I like this design a lot. I don't have any criticisms or complaints about it. I've seen some online. I don't really know why. I like this new design. It feels very Overwatch, but still feels very Farah, right? A lot of these designs we're seeing as we're moving, they feel like they capture what the character was a lot of the time before. A lot of the same personality and world that exists for that character and their story is still there, but we're seeing more changes to them as we go. And we're seeing that they're kind of adopting that more Overwatch look with the white kind of armor, but they still feel like they're the same person they were before. They've just undergone some change, and they still feel like they respect their past and who they were, but you can see kind of how they've evolved. I think these are really great designs in a lot of ways because they tell a story. These designs have story to them, which I don't think people will give enough credit to the team for. Now, for whatever reason, there's two classics here. Classic 2s for Reaper. So we'll take a look at that. Maybe there's some interesting stuff that I will see why there's two different Classic 2s. Here's Reaper's original design. Here is Classic 2. It looks like it's actually just one design. For some reason, there's two of them there. That's a little visual bug. But like I said before with the shotguns, right? The weapons. Look at how, like, unrealistic these look. The original ones don't look very realistic either. But these ones look so over the top and in a good way. His design, obviously, more silver. We knew about that. He's got, like, blades on his arms. That's kind of metal. He's still got a lot of the same, like, general trench coat look to him. The same, like, high collar look. I guess before I didn't really have the high collar, he had the much more thick kind of hood. Now he's got the high collar. Hood is in more. Same, very similar look. I like the Reaper redesign. I know some people didn't like the change from white to silver on the mask. I think it looks pretty good. I think it fits more. His mask is more shaped like the Talon logo now. That's more of a T, less of a skull, but still has that same skull look. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's something I noticed on it. I like that look a lot, though. Sojourn still doesn't have any, literally has no unlockable stuff. So her look is the same as what we saw in the first beta. Obviously, she's a new hero, so she's not going to have a Overwatch 1 look. Soldier 76, one of the worst kept secret redesigns that they kept showing unintentionally all the time, or they did it on purpose and just were not ready to announce him. But there he is. Overwatch 1, he shows much less of his face. Overwatch 2, the lower part of his mask is gone. He has the visor still. He covers that part of his face a lot more. You see he's got a beard. Not as thick as I feel like his artwork made it look, but still I like it. A lot more kind of white in his original design. So interesting, right? Soldier 76 in the lore of Overwatch has moved away from Overwatch quite a bit. And I think that is reflected a bit in his design. The white of the kind of American red, white, and blue part of his design is gone. He has more silver in his design now. There's almost no white, if any white at all. I think they've, generally speaking, tried to move a lot of those original Overwatch heroes away from that Overwatch look and more to a kind of separate look, with the exception of like Winston. But a good look for Soldier 76. I like the change. I honestly didn't like the old Soldier 76 jacket. It's just too much for me. It's over the top. But just like the idea, of course, it's fine. But I kind of like this new look. A lot more blue and darker colors, which I like. I like this new look for Soldier 76. This is what I aspire to look like when I'm older. But not really. But yes, at the same time. Sombra, we've seen her new look quite a bit in depth. They showed it off. I believe it was at E3 last year. I don't remember exactly what it was. I know they showed off some looks at BlizzCon and whatnot. Maybe it was in the grand finals in 2020. That might have been when we saw Sombra's redesign. But there we go. There's old Overwatch 1 Sombra. Here is Overwatch 2 Sombra. Her hair is much more interesting. I like the look. I really like the new Sombra redesign. It's a shame that she kind of stinks in Overwatch 2, but it is what it is. Her little insignia there. I think they've done a pretty good job working in also like every character's like unique like insignia. Like Soldier 76 at the 76. Reaper obviously has that little thing that's always on his side. Doomfist had like the DF on it. He had that in the original one too. But I think the looks are very interesting. A lot of them have this kind of similar look. May had I think a lot of them are their ultimate icons. Some of them aren't, but a lot of them are their ultimate icons. Her leggings are interesting now. Before they were purple and gray. Now they're purple and this kind of same like bluish teal color. Nice little like gradient look. I like the Sombra redesign a lot. I think she looks very good. And I think they worked in the kind of wiry look that her hair had. You know, she had it here before, but she didn't have it in her hair before. Now it's in her hair and on her head still, which I think is a nice look for Sombra. Next is Symmetra. Take a look at the new Symmetra design. Here's her original design. A lot of this light blue color. There's her prosthetic arm. You can see her kind of general advisory look. And here is the way she looks now. You can see her look kind of sticks up now as opposed to sticking out. Her arm looks more kind of up-to-date, updated. Little less blue in her overall design, but I think it's fine. There's some more white. I like the look of her outfit now. I think it kind of shows you how the game has evolved. Like, this was the texture for the original one, which is fine. It's cool. It's nice. This one feels newer. It feels more like the game. Their engine is updated. Like, the texture is really cool. She has more clothing down on her legs. She has more kind of in that, which I think is a general theme they also kind of went with. They kind of clothed a lot of the characters more. I don't know if there's a behind the scenes reason for that, or like a kind of legal reason for that, where like they were getting kind of towing the line and some stuff. Instead decided to go with more like clothing on a lot of these characters. Hanzo has it, Symmetra has it. It's a thing that it's not just women characters, it's male and female characters. So they kind of have seemingly put more clothes on them. You can think about that how you want. That is just something I've noticed. But I like the Symmetra redesign. Her hair looks a lot nicer, I think. It looks a lot more natural. Here it's very like stiff, right? It's very much like hair. There's a couple like places where it's sticking through, but it looks better. Like the hair looks so much nicer now. There's more like individual looking hairs to it. it is really impressive what they've been able to change, and I like the way she looks. So, all in this new Symmetra look. Torbjorn, his portrait is one of the only ones that actually is updated, which is interesting. Here's Overwatch 1 Torbjorn. You know him, you love him. And here's Overwatch 2 Torbjorn. His beard is a little different now. His engine things are very, very different. Here's his rivet gun in Overwatch 2, which looks like more of something he put together. Like, this looks like a drill base. I don't know if it looked like that in Overwatch 1 as much. It definitely did not. You can see it there. But Overwatch 2, it looks more like he made it. He put it together. Like, he is a builder. He creates things. This looks like something he made. Like, there's little pieces of different, like, technology that he's thrown together to kind of create this cool rivet gun. I like this little, like, metal look on it. Like what you get with, like, forged metal, which is cool. I like his new goggles as opposed to having the, like, smelting mask. It's cool. It's interesting. He's got more hair showing now. His beard went from, I think, one... No, there were still two of them before. But now it is a different look. He doesn't have the same things on the bottom anymore. He still has, like, rings there, but his hair is more showing now. I like the Torb design. Another little symbol thing there. Not necessarily the one I would associate with Torb, but it's there. Got the ironclad belt on still. I like the Torb redesign. I'm a fan of it. Tracer, the first redesign we ever saw, the mascot for Overwatch, the logo for the Overwatch League. There is Tracer, the one you know and love. Here is new Tracer. Once again, a lot more white in the design. That's a trend I'm noticing. She doesn't have socks on. You can see more of her like lower leg. Her shoes are, I think, more nice looking, more streamlined, more smooth. Her hair looks largely the same. It's not exactly the same. The texture is way, way nicer, like I noticed with Symmetra. The hair texture is so much better. It's so much nicer. Her goggles are nicer looking. I think they're smoother. They're cleaner. They look more modern, more futuristic. What I'm noticing a lot with a lot of these character designs, I'll just say them right here, right now. They look way more updated in ways that I think people don't recognize, like, first glance. When you get in-game, I think, you know, you get to see the models, like, as they are in-game. They look so much nicer. Like, so the whites are a lot more interesting on a lot of these characters, which I think is a different design choice. But the hair looks a lot nicer on all these characters. I think the designs are smoother. They still look like the same characters, which I think is nice. Like, you wouldn't question if that was Tracer or not. Like, if someone showed you that Overwatch 2 design, didn't tell you it was an Overwatch 2 design, you might just think it was the same design for some of these characters. Widow, here we go. Here's Widowmaker's original Overwatch 1 design. And Overwatch 2. Here we go. Once again, more clothed. Her back is still showing, but in the front, she's wearing more clothing. I like the purple that they chose for Widowmaker. I love purple. Purple's my favorite color. A lot more blue and like a lighter purple color in the original Widowmaker. A darker purple on new Widowmaker, and I love it. I love Widowmaker's new design. I love her new kind of braid. I love what they did. I think she looks so menacing in this look. I think she looks so cool. I love her new design. Her little arm thing looks a lot nicer and a lot cooler than it did before. Some people might like the old one, which I think the old one is nice. It looks a lot newer, more updated, and smoother, and I think, in a way, scarier, because it shows you that even Talon's gotten a lot stronger. And another silver change to a Talon hero, like we saw with Reaper. And Sigma was white. He's kind of the opposite, but I like that look for Widowmaker. So that's all the DPS heroes. Let's move on to the final 7 heroes, our supports. Video's already pretty long, but we're going to go through, we're going to talk about all of them, because I promised you I would. Here's Overwatch 1 Ana, her original design. She got the Overwatch symbol on her shoulder. Definitely the outfit she wore. You can see it's been worn a long time. It's pretty tattered. Here is her Overwatch 2 redesign. No longer with the Overwatch symbol. I think that is a very key change they're making to a lot of these older original Overwatch members, like Soldier 76, like Ana. They're showing that they are not a part of Overwatch when this game begins, and maybe even at all. The blue on her gun is very Nerf blue, which I think is funny. I really like her new design, though. I like the way her hood looks. She got the little like tag thing on it. I really like this cool design on the back. Very like Egyptian look there. Ra, I believe, is the bird one. I like this design a lot. Better look at her biotic rifle if you want to see it. Some cool little like stuff on it. Some other like Ra type designs there. See some numbers on it. Looks like it says vaccinate. Ana said get vaccinated. I like the design a lot. I like the little camo around her neck, kind of scarf hood type of thing. I like this design. I don't like the hood as much. I like the way her kind of hood area looks in this one. Like, the hood looks nicer. But I don't dislike this design. I think she also looks older, which is obviously she is older, so makes sense. But I like this new design. Honest design, I'm a big fan of. Batiste, I already teased it a little bit. He's got a lot more white in his new design. But here is his Overwatch 1 design. Doesn't really feel like a color scheme that necessarily associates him with any particular organization. Obviously, he's a former member of Talon, becomes kind of a mercenary, doing his own thing. Overwatch 2, he is a member of Overwatch. His hair is longer and taller. He's got more like shaved looks on the side of his head, which I think is really, really nice. More white in his design once again, but still has a lot of that same blue to his design, which is, I think, a key color in his original design. I love this new Batiste design. It's one of my favorite redesigns. They went with more white as opposed to more orange, which was big in his original look, but I really like this new design. He feels like Overwatch. He feels like a member of Overwatch. I'm a big fan of this new look for Batiste. One of my favorite redesigns, honestly. I think it's so simple in a lot of ways, but there's so many really interesting things that they changed. Some color choices I really like. He feels like the same character, but he feels very much like he's a part of something now. He's a part of Overwatch with the kind of color scheme that matches a lot of other characters. So I do like his new look quite a bit. Brigitte, her design from what we've seen felt very similar to her Overwatch 1 design, so I'm kind of curious to see what it looks like. Obviously I have the golden weapon on her, so let me take that off real quick. Let me go to her normal default weapon so we get a better idea of what she looks like. Anyway, here's Brig from Overwatch 1. Very, very nice look for her. Overwatch 2, Brigitte. Similar in a lot of ways, though there are some differences. She's got, I don't even know what this is supposed to be, a lynx on her shoulder pad, which is interesting. I like her design. She feels less armored, which is interesting. A choice I didn't really expect. She's very kind of top-heavy in Overwatch 1. Doesn't feel as top-heavy in Overwatch 2. Still some ways, but not quite as much. A lot of yellow still in her design. She did not get the treatment of getting a lot more white, but she feels much more like Reinhardt, I think. Her color scheme is more Reinhardt. This color scheme is more similar to Torbjorn, I think, or at least her armor and design is more Torbjorn-like. She has the ironclad look. But now, she feels more like Reinhardt Squire. She feels like someone who would follow Reinhardt into battle. That is what she looks like now, which I think is very interesting. I think it's a good look. I think it's a nice change, where her color scheme feels very much like Reinhardt. She looks a lot like Reinhardt. We definitely didn't see this redesign in the Overwatch 2 reveal trailer when it came out, so that was interesting. But I like the little shoulder pad design. I don't know what it is. It might be a cat, actually. It might be supposed to be like Mitzi, which is interesting. But I do like the design. She has a 0.8 on her, which I believe is also the same number Reinhardt has. I think it was 7 on Torb, and it's 8 on Brig. So I like the Brig redesign. Brig's my favorite hero, so I was excited for that one. Lucio, we've seen this redesign a bunch. One of the original ones we saw. Here's Overwatch 1 Lucio. His hair is much kind of higher than it is on his Overwatch 2 design. A lot of green, a lot of blue. Here, still a lot of blue, still a lot of green. Doesn't have that kind of look of someone who's been with Overwatch for some time, which I think we're going to see him become a member of Overwatch during the PvE mode. His hair obviously changes colors now when he is using his kind of abilities. So if he's speed boosting, it's green. If he's healing, it's yellow. Feels very much like Lucio, but I like his new design quite a bit. The back is more frog-like, which I like. I like frogs, so I like Lucio's design a lot. I'm actually a big fan of his redesign. I think that he looks more he's less armored in a lot of places, which is another thing I've noticed. Another trend I've seen with a lot of these characters is they feel smoother. They feel like they're less bulky in a lot of places, which I think is an interesting design choice. I think it reflects kind of the evolution of time where things feel less kind of man-made or I guess not man-made. They feel less like crude. They feel more like they were made by Overwatch for Overwatch. Here's Mercy, her Overwatch 1 look. And here is Overwatch 2 Mercy. Very similar. Obviously, her hair is different, which I always loved the new look for Mercy's hair. I think the new look is awesome. She's got the Swiss kind of cross still to kind of show where she's from. The wings are a little bit nicer, kind of newer. You know, these ones are cool. They're nice, but I like her new look a lot. More kind of orangey, goldish color in a lot of places, which I think is nice. Plays into that guardian angel feel for Mercy, that angelic look that she has. So a big fan of that look for Mercy. Moira, I remember when they talked about Moira's redesign back in 2019. Jeff Kaplan was like, yeah, we just got our first look at Moira's new design, and you guys are going to love it. She shows a lot more of her skin this time around on her arm, which is interesting. We didn't get to see what her arm really looked like underneath her cloak before, but now we get a really good look at her arm, and it is messed up. Her other arm still hidden pretty well, but her other arm is looking rough, which I like. It really shows kind of the difference in who she is. And that one side she's really kind of taking away, other side she's giving, and it has taken a toll on her body. She looks older. Her hair is different now. You can see more gray in it. Her mask thing looks more like Phantom of the Opera hockey mask also kind of look than it did before, which I like. Took off some of the little things that were there, but I think it stands out a little more. I think it looks creepy. I wonder if she looks different underneath. I would imagine she probably does, but who knows? But I like the new look from Moira. Her outfit is less dark colors. It's more of like a tannish, grayish, brownish almost type of look, as opposed to before with a lot of black and purple in her look. I like purple. There's still a lot of that same purple, but kind of a nicer, more interesting design. I like her jacket is more like a jacket now, which I think is cool. So I like the Moira redesign. Very, very nice. Final hero redesign is Zenyatta. This video is already 46 minutes, so let's just take a look at Zenyatta, and then we will end it. Here's Overwatch 1 Zenyatta. Very nice looking skin for him. I'm a big fan. Overwatch 2, we see he looks very, very similar. He looks like he's a little bit updated in a lot of kind of the clothing department ways. Like his robe before looks a lot more tattered, looks a lot older. Looks like he got a new robe. Maybe Genji gifted him some new clothes as a thank you for his service. But Zenyatta feels very similar, which I like, because Zenyatta I don't think should feel like a super new character. He has more clothing on the top. Even the Omnics are wearing more clothes. Genji's wearing more clothes. Zenyatta's wearing more clothes. They're clothing everybody. Everybody who likes people without clothes, you guys are getting things taken away. But they also showed more of Sigma's feet, so if you like feet, I guess you win. But yeah, those are all the new hero designs. This video has been long enough already, so if you watched this whole thing, you stuck through with me, thank you so much. Hope you all enjoy the Overwatch 2 beta. If you got in, if you didn't, just keep waiting, keep trying, you will get in eventually. But that's going to be all from me for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy, and until next time, bye-bye.